Friend, this outer bed tour is packed, but it starts with a mess of blackberries that need taming. We've got pomegranates all eaten by birds, Everglades tomatoes climbing 10 feet in the canopy, and one tree that may not make it. Plus watermelon in cages, pumpkins crawling in the 4 directions of the earth, and even a neighbor's gourd sneaking into my garden. You'll see alien-looking passion fruit vines getting massive, mint-covered in bees, and even a giant elephant ear about to flower. But the real secret is at the very end, how I make compost that never smells and keeps this whole garden thriving. Stick around, you don't want to miss it. Hey friend, welcome to the Bowtie Gardens for September of 2025. We're going to take a look at the outer garden beds. We look at this every single month. I like going in the same order, and occasionally it gets a little bit out of order, but today we're going to stick to the path because the end, like you already heard, is where the best part comes. If you've been following along, you know we already got the front and side garden tour out of the way. That's part 1 of my monthly garden tours. These are, of course, my own personal journal, and there's a lot of detail in here, more detail than maybe just a regular garden tour, but I go back and look at these. I'll be standing in the store in front of the seed rack, and I'll be looking at my videos trying to remember what was that seed that I got, or what planted, or when did I plant that, how long did it last, all these kind of things. So I try to get a lot of detail in there for my own journal. We are going to start right here with the blackberry trellis and take a look at what's going on because we need to do a little bit of care for this thing. I took care of the arches over in the raised garden bed tour last month. You can go back and look at that. That's part 3 is the raised beds. This is the outer beds, but you can look at what we did over there. We're going to just take a little bit of time to take care of these vines and start getting this final blackberry trellis ready for next year. I'm very excited. Let's get going on this blackberry trellis. And of course, in these blackberry vines, we have the old vines that were actually producing fruit this year. Now this particular trellis here does not create nearly as much as the others, but it makes it a little easier to see. See how brown this is? This is a spent vine. This is actually in its 2nd year. This year, it became a primocane, a cane that produces fruit, the berries. If you look down here, you'll notice this one here is very green. This is the one that's going to produce berries next year. However, if you follow this up, where does it go? Where does it go? I thought it went there, but I see it goes further and further and further down to, oh my goodness, it comes down to a nice green cane that started this year. So this is going to be what's called a see, I already got it wrong. This is the primocane. This is the cane that is the 1st year cane. It may produce, I find ours actually does produce some blackberries the 1st year, but not very much. It will actually live to a 2nd year. So these green things are the things that I want to help grow. And all these brown things are the things that are gonna go, things that are gonna get trashed and thrown out into the compost. And with about 5 minutes worth of work, I go in here and I cut out all the old vines. I take all the new green vines and I feed them through the trellis, kind of weaving them back and forth. They will grow. They'll be strong and they'll become the next year's production of blackberries. And you can see, like right here, this brand new green vine is going all the way along here, goes way down this way, and even comes down to that new bottom that we were looking at. Something like this right here. It's long, it needs a place to go. All I do here, let's pull that old one out. All I will do here is I will just stick it in a hole, pull it through, stick it back through another hole. That thing will continue to grow. Every time I walk through here, I will just simply weave them a little further. These things will start falling all over the place and they'll look great. By the time we get to blackberry season next year, I will, oh my goodness, I will point out that I keep getting this spider making a spider web down here, and he's a little bit scary looking. I do not like spiders in the least, but this guy does a good job. So I let him live here. I let him be. Right now we're working on a goal to get our final tier of monetization and getting our watch hours up, so please feel free to browse around the rest of our videos. We do have a lot of playlists that we use and organize our videos by subject. Feel free to look through those playlists. You can find a lot of them on the front page of our YouTube channel. If you go into the playlists tab, you'll see all of our playlists listed through there. Feel free to binge that play all button anytime you're looking for something to watch. And of course, next to the blackberry arbor that is all set up, ready for the next winter, we come up to our pomegranate trees on the north end of the property. And I just wanted to show you, look at the pomegranates. These things are what I like to call bird food, and the birds have been eating these. They deserve a treat too, friend, and they do a good job eating bugs and everything else in the garden, so I never mind them having a snack. After all, we've gotten what we wanted out of it. We could have done more, but I got everything that I had the energy to harvest. We do have a lot of these suckers coming up on some of the pomegranates that we're going to have to take care of. We saw that on the one pomegranate in the front and side yard, and really it's just an easy thing to take care of. Today I have snippers with me, and so let's just do it while we're here, because that's the way my ADD brain works. And yes, I did cut a couple big ones off the back side of this here, right there, and right down in here. That's because they are coming up onto the edge of my roof, and I've got to keep them away from the roof. So that's a concern that the insurance company will be sure to point out to me. I do have to keep these things trimmed back that way. You can see up here we've got a few that are going to have branches that are coming off just to keep them off the edge of the roof. We have our Everglades tomatoes in these, of course. This one is actually, the plant looks great. I can see way up in there that the plant has gone several feet up into the air. That's one right there, and there's one going straight up there. There's another tomato vine right there that's trying to reach the top of the canopy, and I think it's very interesting. This is my intentional experiment. After last year, we had accidental Everglades tomatoes growing up in this very tree, and so I'm trying to figure out what we can do with these Everglades tomatoes, more of those suckers. This Everglades tomato completely gave up the ghost. But these pomegranate trees do produce a lot of pomegranates for us. There's another Everglades. We're going to take a look at that one in just a minute. But you can see birds have just started this pomegranate. This one will be a hollow husk pretty soon. I will be taking this branch out right here all the way down to the bottom, because it really is in the way mainly of our bee guy, and we don't need to have that in his way when he's coming through with things like bee boxes and so forth. So I'll be taking this branch out this winter. We'll end up with 2 trunks on this tree. You can actually see there's the grow bag for this Everglades tomato, and this thing goes up and up and up deep into the canopy way up there. It's going to be a bear to harvest one day. We'll just have to take that chance when we get there. This one climbs over there. That one's not doing too very well. I try to keep these things stuck back up in the tree when they need help, like that, and maybe it'll grow some more. It's an experiment, always experimenting. With that, we come around to the backside of the blueberries, and we did a lot of clearing out of old wood this year. You can see there's a lot of beautiful green canes in here that are going to be producing brand new blueberries for us this next spring. So I'm excited to see what we get out of this. I did cut a lot of old wood out of here, and everywhere I cut old wood, there's now 2 or 3 canes replacing it. That's very exciting, promising. I'm looking forward to a better production year. We do still, in fact, in the front and side garden tour, we were on the opposite corner over there. There's a lot of bad wood that needs to come out. I see down here in this corner, there's still some bad wood that can come out. This is the northwest corner of the blueberry patch, and it needs a little bit of work. Oh my, there's another spider's web. Can you see that spider right there at the tip of my finger? Let me get a little closer here for you. That's cool. I don't like spiders, folks. I'm scared to death of spiders, but they do a great job of controlling insects in my garden, so I let them be. I don't think I've ever seen a black widow in my property. I hope I don't. We'll deal with that when we come to it. More vines. I did clear out, oops, not that. I did clear out a lot of these vines already. This is the Virginia creeper that grows prolifically in our property. I did pull a lot of the, oh, maybe this is the faux, no, this is the real Virginia creeper. I did clear a lot of these out. In fact, I filled 2 big old gray trash cans last month with those vines. You can see here on the magnolia tree. In fact, this is our north magnolia tree. It's a north southern magnolia tree because it's on the north side of our property. It is a southern magnolia, of course. And I keep these Virginia creepers off of here on a regular basis. In fact, if I don't do it, people think I don't actually live here. I'm breaking into someone else's garden. So I will pull stuff like that just to prove that, yes, this is my garden. But look at this tree. It is beautiful. It's huge. It's actually going to show us a flower here at the end of this garden tour. And it's got a, right up in that corner right there, you'll see the flower that's blooming right now. Can't see it from this side, but the leaves, you know, they've got that green top and that kind of tannish purple bottom. Beautiful, beautiful leaves. And of course the Cathedraloupe is covered in Biden's Alba. That's these weeds right here, and some of you may be familiar with Biden's Alba. The bees love these flowers. It makes just tons and tons of flowers. It's already had one flush of flowers, and we'll be getting another one here very soon. You can see our bee box back over there. In fact, there's a big old lizard on that wall right there waiting for some of them. Look at there. He just crawled away. The bee box is looking normal. Very happy about that. A couple of months ago, you might have seen that we had a mad bee box. It was crazy. They were covering the entire thing, but they're looking good now. Down below us here, we have our Comfrey. Now, I don't want to get too close to the bee. We have a Comfrey down here amidst the Biden's Alba, and I will actually come through here and pull Biden's Alba and thin things out a little bit from time to time so that things like this Comfrey right here can thrive. And it is thriving. It's got a lot of great new growth on it, and it will look really good in a couple months now that our weather is starting to cool. Now, those bees are looking very active over there. You keep an eye on those bees for me. I'm going to come down here and pull I'm going to pull these leaf flower out of this mint plant. And yes, this is the mint that we added irrigation to. It did not have all this growing. All this green growth is brand new since I stuck this irrigation head in here, which it is loving. I can tell there's nice moisture in there. Look at all the new growth in here. Mint is something that you can kill if you don't take care of it. I do put it in these grow bags so that they don't escape. And I do try to keep them irrigated because mint, what does mint do, friend? Mint slows down rats and squirrels. The more mint you've got around, the less trouble you're going to have with rats and squirrels. Just saying. Over here, of course, we got our elephant ear over here. We've got another elephant ear coming later that's almost about to bloom. I'm not going to get in there with the bees, but you can see we have several throughout the location. We do have one invasive vine right here. This is a air potato. It will start growing little potatoes up here underneath these leaves that once they drop, they'll start a new plant. These things grow like crazy. I've actually traced this particular plant like 3 years running, trying to figure out where this potato is hiding. Eventually, sometimes what happens is you pull it out and it breaks. Eventually, you will find it. Let's see if we can find it real quick. I'm going to put you down and dig down a little bit because look, it's right there. It's not very big, but there it is. And it is going to the waste management people. They can deal with it. Whoa! Don't throw the phone. There we go. Oh, hey. How are you doing? All right. That is in waste management property. As we're going through this garden tour, I'd love to hear what you're growing in your gardens and what's thriving and maybe what's not. Give me a holler down in the comments to this video below. Every comment actually helps grow the channel and helps get it out to the rest of the world. All right, friend, past the Cathedraloupe and the bee box. This, of course, is the meadow area back behind here. You'll notice it's nice and shady for those bees. It's plenty warm today. We have warm days, 80s, upper 80s, and down to the mid 70s at night typically. This is the first of our 2 back fig trees, and this thing is huge. I am so pleased with it, but if you'll look, it's a lot thinner of the leaves than it was last month. The fig leaves have begun to fall and is starting to thin itself out. This other one, last month we climbed through here and I had a hard time getting into the middle of this tree. Well, look, all the leaves that have fallen, and these leaves are just literally coming off. You can see the fungus spores puffing off these. These leaves are just falling off left and right all on their own. This is the natural progression of the fig tree, and it's still warm here, but I think it's just kind of given up for the year. So it's ready to move on into the next winter, and it will start again next year. Back behind those two fig trees, we have our loquat hedge. These loquats are growing out quite nicely. They are getting a bit tall back there. We will have to do some topping off on that tallest one. There's actually one more behind there. This is one. No, that is the last one. No, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, okay. This is the second from the last one. There's one more beyond that, and I can barely see it back there. This one is the one we've topped off, and that far one. We will end up topping off the rest of these here pretty soon. We don't want to cut too much of the great growth off of them, but I do want to keep these things to a certain height. In the summer, after they've fruited, they need to be cut back down to about 6 foot tall and let them grow thicker. Like you can see in here, they're nice and thick. Our lemon tree is looking, like a pricker tree, but it is a little bit worn, a little bit yellow leaves. Not sure what's going on with that. I'm gonna have to let it go, do its thing. We've already thinned this down to a couple of branches. We got another one in the big pot here. No fruit on this one this year, but we do have some other fruit coming. We come around here just past that. Of course, we come around to, there is a comfrey plant hidden down there, and I need to unbury that so that it can start growing. With the weather cooling and all, that comfrey plant is just not thriving right now. It is, of course, competing with the Biden's Alba with all those butterflies on it. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure what to shoot here. You talk about an amazing weed. There are just butterflies and bees all over this Biden's Alba. It is truly amazing. It's one of the reasons why I let it grow, so it can feed so many of these insects. And of course, that comfrey is suffering down there. But we do come around to our next thing is our watermelon patch. And it looks like a little bit of a mess. And this is the third year that I've used this black fabric in here. It seems to do okay. And it occasionally gives us fruit. And this, of course, is in a cage to protect it from, getting eaten by rats and squirrels. But there is one little scuff mark down there. This thing is almost ready for harvest. We got another one in a cage off to our left that we'll see here momentarily. But these cages seem to be working out pretty good. I'm very pleased with them. Just kind of roughly made out of chicken wire. There's another one underneath there, another cage that is just actually gone. I can take that one out next. A lot of vines through here, but very few watermelons. Haven't done very well with this. Here's the other watermelon right here that's in a cage that I just caged this very morning. So hopefully we can get some good fruit out of these. I got to make sure that these vines don't get pinched though. That's the only downside to doing this, is making sure the vines can breathe and expand and do their thing. And of course, past the watermelon patch, we have our brown turkey fig. And I tell you what, look at what this brown turkey fig is doing. Look at all the figs on this branch. I am so excited to see that. Now we are starting to get fig rust, and this is my first year to get fruit off this tree, so I'm kind of thinking this is going to be a race between seeing how far that fig rust spreads and how much it can develop these figs. These brown turkey figs are normally very large. We'll just have to see what happens here. Again, it's all an experiment on new stuff like this. I can see another bunch of them up there. There's another cluster of them. Oh yeah, that was the cluster. There's another cluster on that far branch over there of about 3. But there are a lot of figs on here. I'm very hopeful on what this thing will produce for us in the future. We got another rack of branches here at the bottom. Eventually this thing is going to be more filled out than it is now. I do have a branch that I've left. This one here I've left. There's another one coming out, another one coming out here that I'm going to hope we can make a middle rack of branches, a middle lattice, not a lattice. What is that called? You know what it's called. I don't. I am new to this. And then if I turn around, we come to the passion fruit arch trellis. And I have started to trim this and cut it back to keep it contained. You can see this thing is going wild. I will frequently take branches like this and feed them back up inside the trellis to try to keep this arch shape. There are no flowers on it yet, but I mean, look at this leaf. It looks like a footprint of a dinosaur or something, right? Maybe some kind of alien. That's wild. And so, yes, and you can see right here, There's a vine, it's reached over, it's grabbing that fence where all the creeping cucumber is, which is kind of cool. It's a toxic version of cucumber, and I don't know that it's really a cucumber, but I pull it out sometimes, but most of the times I don't worry about it. The big thing I'm worried about right here, though, is that branch and it escaping into the neighbor's yard. We don't want another loofah experience, so I will cut something like that and make sure it doesn't spread. This bag of mint down here, almost said the bag of bees. Earlier it was a bag of bees because there were bees all over this mint plant, and right now it looks like it's kind of settling down, but there's all kinds of mint in here. Look at this, look at this. It's all chocolate mint. There's all vines going through it, but yeah, get some of this creeping cucumber and Virginia creeper out of here. And we have this beautiful mint plant that's just amazing. Look at those, the smell here. You can just imagine the smell right here, right now. It is truly awesome. I love this smell. I've got a lot of these. Again, what does mint do? It slows down the rats and the squirrels. And I've got it back here next to the passion fruit trellis, but it's thick, it's growing. It has irrigation in here somewhere. Oh, there's that little red thing right there. That's irrigation head that it's got that's feeding it. And so this thing is doing well. Got to keep this irrigated, of course. I can come in here and I can cut this entire thing back and dry it, and we will have mint tea. In the description of nearly every one of our videos, you'll see there's a lot of links to Amazon products. Those are our Amazon associate links, and you can click on those. We actually get a small commission when you click on and use those links to go to Amazon. Not only on the product that's directly linked, but anything you buy within something like a 24-hour period, we actually get a small portion of that sale. It doesn't change your price, doesn't change anything from your end. We just end up getting a little bit of support for what's going on in the garden. So be sure to use our Amazon links down below. We do have all our products that we buy from Amazon linked throughout a lot of different videos. And so take a look, and we appreciate your support. And then, of course, left of the passion fruit, we have the jasmine trunk. This is an old oak tree that we took out. It was damaged. It has a lightning strike down this side of it. But look at this, it's starting to put out seed pods. I'm excited to see if I can actually take these seed pods and propagate them from seeds. I don't know if you can do that with jasmine, but there it is. I'll have to find out if we have to stratify that or whatever. There's a few of these pods sticking out. In fact, there's another one right here somewhere that I am simply not seeing. I just saw it. Where'd it go? I don't see it right now. Anyway, we're starting to see these pods in various places, and we will be trying to plant those along the way. I really am so pleased with how, look at the vines here. Just massive tangles of vines. This thing is going to be enclosed completely in jasmine. I would love to see this thing covered in white jasmine flowers. The smell, of course, would be amazing. We do have a bit of dodder coming in down here, and that's why you see some of these dead branches. Dodder is not a typical plant. It is a parasite, and it will actually grow, and we saw this last month in our squash bed. It will actually grow into and sink its tendrils, not tendrils, forget what they're called, but it will sink into a plant with leaves and suck out the life through it, which is really kind of scary. Little vampire plant. But this, the hairy stuff, which we'll see in just a minute, here's some right here. This right here, not the leaves, just that stuff. That's dodder. Little tiny flowers sucking the life out of the weeds. And this can be really bad stuff to get rid of. Some of you might be dealing with this in your garden. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you're dealing with dodder. But yeah, we're on the other side of the jasmine trunk. This is all dodder. Now, I'm not really worried about this because it's actually just attaching itself to Biden's Alba, but it is propagating itself, and I'm not crazy about that. And you really want to get this stuff in control and start getting rid of it. I do get out here occasionally, clean it out, but it comes back. It is a very prolific vine. Over here past our wood pile, we have our watermelon patch just beyond the solar weed sauna. We're going to come back to this in just a minute when we start talking about the compost. But the Squash has been growing everywhere. You'll notice it's growing up the fence over there. There's also another gourd over there. I'll show you that. There's a gourd coming in from my neighbor's house that's growing back into mine. This birdhouse gourd is just amazing looking. He grew a lot of these last year. He said he found one of these growing and he's just been kind of cultivating it. But the pumpkin patch is huge. It's gone all the way over. It's actually climbing up the fence over there. We'll go look at where it's climbing the fence on that far side. It's amazing. There are actually female flowers that are producing fruit. I am hoping. I don't know if they're all pollinated or not, but we are getting there. I've let things like this one over here just continue to grow. I did have to pull it down out of the raised bed because it's getting into an important plant. You will have to go and watch the raised garden bed tour next, which is part 3 of my monthly garden tour. And you'll notice I'm not mowing nearly as much over here because I don't want to destroy my pumpkin vines. They're starting to crawl out on the ground here and do their rooting thing. We do have the legacy rosemary plant over here that's getting overtaken by the pumpkins. I'm really torn if I should pull that off or just let it survive and let the pumpkin have it, because this is the first year I've actually had pumpkins, so I'm a little excited about that. Coming around the backside, I kind of step across the vines and come around here. This is our lemon tree. Our one lemon for the year is looking beautiful. This is a Meyer Lemon. It's huge. I'm so pleased with that. We'll leave that covered with the leaves and see if that actually ripens. I do want to show you. I love showing these thorns. Look at the size of those thorns. This is what a real lemon tree looks like. I mean, I say a real lemon tree. This is a lemon tree that is not grafted or anything. It is full force, all nature. This one here, I'm not sure is going to make it. It's actually in a big pot. It keeps getting these dead branches on it. I think it might be wasting away. We'll just have to see what happens to it. This one over here is the one that's thriving, though. There's another one down yonder that is thriving as well. If you saw the front and side garden tour, you saw I actually have a few new pomegranate trees seeded and starting to grow. This here is one of the ones that I'm afraid I'm going to lose. I don't want to lose a pomegranate in this location, but it had a rough time. It's right there next to that rosemary plant, and I might want to plant this, maybe a new one, a foot back from where that one was. We'll see if that survives, but I've already had a few die, and it's beginning to look a lot like that. Also in this area, of course, we have this enormous elephant ear. Kind of shows you why it's called an elephant ear. These things are just huge. That's my hand right there. and yeah, huge leaf. I do want to show you down here. If I come down here to the stem of it, look at this right here. This is actually going to be a flower head. And this is going to pop up, give us a beautiful flower, and let us see what this thing can do. We've seen one of these once before, and that is it. So I'm very anxious to see how that looks. It looks like a fruit down there, so that means this is a female flower. I don't know if these things have male and female flowers or if they're self-pollinating. So this Everglades tomato plant right here, it actually goes up into the canopy across. You can see it right there going across and back down the other side of this tree. Everglades tomatoes will get very, very long. It isn't indeterminate. It'll just grow and grow and grow. I need to stick this back up into the tree somehow. I don't know if there's enough tree for that to stick in there. We are starting to collect red Everglades tomatoes. Oh, here's the vine right here. Look at that thing. It's just huge. It's growing all the way up through that tree. But trying this year with this experiment, getting Everglades tomatoes to actually grow up into the tree canopy. I do use these 2 pomegranate trees as a cover for my propagation station. We have a couple of Loquat trees from previous years. They're just sitting in their solo cups. We have got a couple of these Dino Kale down here. There's another 3 over there. You can see right there the Dino Kale. There's some more Carolina Jasmine right here, which is a yellow jasmine. There's another one right here that I still need to take care of. I should be putting these up in another pot, or else I'm going to lose the last of the few survivors. This pineapple, there's 3 pineapple here now. Where did that one come from? This is the oldest one, and this one actually looked just like this with no leaves down in the middle for the longest time, and then suddenly one day it started popping up new leaves. This is the second one. This is the final one that I just did, and it actually is looking good. I had to think a second where this came from. Forgot, we just got a pineapple not long ago, but it's kind of spreading out and looking beautiful. I'm going to let that thing root some more. This thing is ready to go in the ground. I need to find a place for it. Lots of rosemary over there still. Coming back this way, of course, we have our Citronella that we propagated. Be sure and go watch that video about how we propagate Citronella. There's a symbol right there. If it's not posted yet, it will be posted soon. I do know there's a copy of it over on Enoch's channel that you can go to. But yep, you know what I'm coming up to here. What is this? What is this amazing thing we're looking at? This is sugarcane, and I actually traded Daisy the Good
now there are good reasons
30,000, approximately 30,000 loofah seeds for a few sticks of sugarcane. These things are rooting right now and are starting to take off. I'm so excited. There are 17 in here. I think about 12, maybe 13 of them have started shooting up shoots. So these things are looking amazing. We'll be planting these out in the garden pretty soon. So yes, that's my seed starting station and propagation station. It's right here under an irrigation head, so it gets regular water. Things stay moist in here. If you're enjoying these garden tours, be sure to go over to our Facebook group. It's a private group called the Bowtie Bunch. There's a link in the description. You can tell because you see this symbol in the upper right hand corner of the screen, and you can go down to the description and find the link to the Bowtie Bunch. It is by request only. We don't just let anybody in. We want to keep this as a private group that we can have better conversations in. So be sure to go ask to join the Bowtie Bunch. Right now the doors are open and I'm allowing just about anybody who tries to get in there. We have had a few spammers try to get in there, and it's very obvious when that happens. I do enjoy our southern magnolia trees. This is the one on the south end of the property. I see another big spider web right there, growing beautifully. This one over on this end does not bloom as beautiful as the one on the north. You can see here is a flower from that one on the north side that we saw, I was talking about earlier. That's the view of it. The sun's not shining on it quite as bright as it was. Here is one that the sun is shining on right now. These things are amazing. I love the flowers when they come. I also love the leaves. And so I keep hearing some of y'all say, whoop, whoa, it's my friend. Hey, Henderson. So I'm still hearing some people say that they have stinky compost, and I'm trying to spread the word on how not to have stinky compost. This is our compost bin. It's very typically what it looks like. I did cut a lot of grass. You can see the top here is all new grass. Look at all the brown leaves. You see all this is from that American sycamore tree that we saw in the first part of the garden tour for this month. And I talked a little bit about how it's starting to drop its leaves. Well, these are the leaves that it dropped. Lots of leaves, a little bit of green over here, but all that brown in there, that does help some to keep the smell down. So you want more browns in there. It acts kind of like a desiccant, keeping things from going sour. Now, I've never had evidence of rats or raccoons or anything digging in my compost, and I want to bring you in a little closer because we have some bins from the kitchen. Mrs. Bowtie has been working. We got a lot of okra here that she sliced up, some old cucumbers, a liquefied loofah, and our regular kitchen compost bin. And in here we put banana peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, any other good kitchen scraps go in here. So these are all smelly. I can smell them from here. They're smelly type stuff, but you can keep that stuff less smelly very easily. And I just want to show you one more time how that's done. Now, this pile down here that's covered with the cardboard, this is last year's compost. This is the stuff that we used in our beds for this year. It's still there. I've got it covered with cardboard. We still got a lot left under there. A lot of nutrients left in there I can use over the winter. This will start being ready come March, April. We'll start using this compost. But I just want to bring you in closer, show you what I do here, and show you the special treatment I do with this after we put this compost in the pile. Now, just to prove to you that there is kitchen scraps down in here, I know that I put some kitchen scraps right somewhere down here, and I bury them deep. Oh, I can feel the heat. If we come down here far enough, you can see we have, I'm going to just dig right there because I know it's right there. See, there's banana peels and other things. This is where the shredders are already starting to work and make an effort to bring these things down. I think this was maybe from 2 days ago. So it's been there just a very short time. It's already starting to go ugly. I can feel the heat down here. It's probably 110, 120 degrees right here where my hand is. So what I will do is I will take this pile, I'm going to cover that back up. I never bury compost in the same place as the previous day. So I know the previous day is right about here. This is right about here. I'll actually come back a little bit, like right about in here. And I will come down like 6 inches, folks. You can, like 6 inches, friend. You can see that's a pretty big hole right there. And I will dump all this stuff down in that hole. Now you can see it's kind of pooching up there. I don't do much with that. I'll try to shake it down just a little bit and then cover that over with grass. But I'm not done. There's one more thing, and here's the magic that I've discovered this year. I've been working with it this year, and I really love the results. And so this is my solar weed sauna. It is nothing more than a piece of grass I found on the side of the road. Free glass. I used a couple of 2x6s here to make this box-shaped thing that I've strapped to a lifetime plastic table. This thing, I can fill it up with weeds from my bin here, and I will put just all my green weeds in here, and it will sit there for a few days in our hot sun. I'll open up the top and I'll flip the whole thing over and do the bottom side, and in about 4 or 5 days, sometimes 6 days, this thing makes this beautiful mat of browns. Now when I put them in, they were greens. They were green stuff. If you stuck it in the compost, it would have been considered greens. But greens are great. They provide nitrogen. I have so many greens with cut grass. In fact, I don't cut my grass nearly as often as I need to because of the silly greens. And then I will just simply take this over and put it on the pile, make it like a mat on top of the pile like this, and it seals the bed. It acts as a desiccant. It takes away the odor. It keeps things the right moisture and starts settling things down. This will settle down. This whole pile will be down about a foot in a few weeks. I'll be able to start the whole process over again. Put more grass on top of that, another mat of weeds. In fact, you'll notice I have an empty bin over here right now because I have not been sticking enough weeds in here in the past few weeks that I just need to get stuff over there. But we have everything in here. This is Biden's Alba stem right here, and roots that are all dead and crunchy. There is nothing good left of that. It will decay in the compost pile here. There will be grass on top of this, another layer of brown on top of that, a mat just like this. And so this right here will keep your compost smelling wonderful. And with all the weeds I have, you have too much greens in the summer. I hear that a lot. Well, where do I get browns in the summer? Make yourself a solar weed sauna. Stick it out in the sun in a place where you can just let it sit. I don't think that it would do real good if it's more than about a 2x6 deep, because it can't penetrate the heat down in there but so much. But this is not a sealed box. I let the air flow through this thing. There's gaps in the sides of it that allow the moisture to escape out of it, and it does just fantastic even in the rain. It doesn't get wet in there because the glass acts like a nice little shed roof, and so it keeps it all clean. That's enough on compost. We added our kitchen scraps for today in here, and that is the outer garden bed tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the raised garden bed tour. There's a few things going on in there. A little bit exciting. We got a crop that's just starting to show up after being planted, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago. I'll have to look it up and see when those beans were planted. I did that on the raised garden bed tour, which is where a lot of stuff has happened this year. So be sure to subscribe, follow along. If you found this at all informational, educational, inspirational, or maybe just entertaining, watching me stumble around the beds, Give this thing a thumbs up, share this with a friend who'd like to learn more about gardening, and you have a blessed day.